So Bridget Phillipson is telling parents they need to think differently about SEND. And it's really triggered me. I've been thinking about SEND since I was probably about 8, when I realised that I was not wired the same way, but I didn't know what that was. It took until my 40s to have anything formally diagnosed. And people say we're over labeling. Best thing that ever happened to me, having my label, because I could understand it. I could understand who I was and why I was what I was. It was too late for me in education, although I am now back at college, and college do make provisions for my dyslexia. Um, and when my daughter went to primary school, I knew she was dyslexic. I mean, you don't not know. The apple doesn't fall far, and once you've seen it, you can't unsee it. So I started the ball rolling of getting her help from a very, very early age. Now, that has made, in some areas, lots of things easier, and in some areas, there's nothing you can do to make it easier. The system basically is set for you to fail. You have to come to terms with that, and you have to sort of navigate that. I I can't tell you how difficult it is saying that, but that is just the reality. And when I say the system is, set for you to fail, look at the exam boards who will give you provision so you can have extra time, you can have a scribe, you can work on a laptop, but you'll lose a percentage of the marks in the English exam for that. So it's like, yeah, we recognise it. We're going to give you help, but we're still going to knock some marks off because you're dyslexic. Oh, great, thanks. And so when I see that Bridget Phillipson wants parents to think differently about SEND, I think, well, what does she mean with that? What is she talking about? And then I see that parents will lose their right to appeal when during the EHC process, and I'm like, that's what she means. What she means is she's thinking SEND differently, and she's going to get rid of a few, and she's going to decategorize a few, and that's not SEND, you can do that at home. And she's effectively, in Torsten Bell's statement that the government is going to support those with the most acute needs, what she's actually doing is propelling children to have acute needs, because by ignoring it when it's not acute, it will then grow into acute. And that is, very easy for somebody to say who has got SEND and SEND children. For somebody that hasn't got a clue, Bridget Phillipson, Torsten Bell, they can't join the dots on that. And again, being neurodivergent, I join the dots really quickly. I am very, very lateral and strategically placed to think about this stuff. It's the way that my mind works. I'm a high executive functioner with autism and dyslexia. So I see stuff that maybe some other people don't see straight away. And I see exactly what Bridget Phillipson is doing. And she doesn't want you to know it. So that's why she's redacted minutes from meetings that she had with Daniel Kabidi. That is why she's sort of glossing over this and making it sound as though she's doing lovely things for you. I'm doing it for you and your kids. She's not. She's absolutely not. What she's doing is shaping education into a mould that fits Bridget Phillipson and Keir Starmer. And, throwing it out there, I think she's a little bit in love with Keir Starmer. I don't know what power it is that he's got over her, but she sits there like a little bird waiting for mummy to put a worm in its mouth. She is under his spell. So she will do whatever it is that she needs to do to keep his favour. And I suspect Daniel Kabidi is helping with that. And that's why he's suddenly, her new best friend. I think Angela and Rachel are a threat to her. And so she's got to think this all quite strategically and logically. And what she will do is basically be Starmer's mouthpiece, and she will turn education into their ideology. And you or I, the parents and the kids, we're not part of that. We're not part of that process. We don't have a voice. We don't have a say in it. We're expected to just go along with it. And where I think Bridget has underestimated again. So first of all, she underestimated the real anger of the private school community. Now she's hit SEND and the SEND community. And the problem with that, Bridge, is we've already been fighting for our children. It's second nature for us. It's part of our DNA because we have to. As SEND individuals ourselves, we have to fight for our children. So you throw another grenade and we go, right, well, we've got two back. We will throw two back at you. I've pulled the pin and now I'm throwing them. And I think it's going to be really interesting over the next week to see what happens with this. But with the welfare cuts and this target on disabled kids in education, I think the Labour Party is going to have a really rude awakening. And part of me wants it to. Honestly speaking, part of me wants the Labour Party to fall over and really hurt themselves.